What would you do if your faith could cost you everything? When the choice is faith or fear, which path would you take? Between what you believe and the pressures of the world around you. Would you hide your beliefs, run away from the challenge, or give up what gives your life meaning? This is Daniel's story, a story of faith over fear. Daniel was faithful, wise, and respected. He carried himself with quiet dignity, honest, diligent, full of integrity. People trusted him with great responsibility. But his strength did not come from position. His relationship with God came first. Prayer was conversation with his closest friend. He did not chase applause or power. Each day, he turned his heart toward heaven. God's words shaped his character and guided his compassion. This was a life devoted to God. In the hallowed halls of the Persian court, a shadow of envy was growing. The other leaders, the satraps and administrators, watched Daniel with a resentment that curdled into conspiracy. His unwavering integrity was a silent judgment on their own corrupt schemes, and his favor with King Darius was a constant, bitter reminder of their own diminishing influence. They saw him not just as a rival, but as a direct threat to their power and position. Fear and jealousy became the architects of a malicious plan whispered into existence in the palace's dark corners. They knew they could find no fault in his work, so they decided to weaponize his faith. They approached the king not with accusations, but with saccharine praise. They spoke of his greatness, his unmatched authority, and the need to solidify his legacy. Their proposal was clever, a calculated appeal to the king's pride. For 30 days, no one in the entire kingdom could pray to any god or man except to King Darius himself. It was a masterful piece of flattery, cloaking their venomous intent in the language of loyalty. The king, pleased by their apparent devotion and blind to the true target of their law, readily agreed. With the press of his signet ring, the decree became law, unchangeable, as were all laws of the Medes and Persians. The law was announced throughout the land, a declaration of the king's supreme authority. But for the conspirators, it was the sound of a trap snapping shut. Daniel heard the proclamation, and he knew immediately who it was for. He was the sole target. The conspirators watched from a distance, their plan hinging on one simple fact they knew to be true. Daniel's faithfulness to his God was absolute. They counted on it. The choice was stark. Disobey the king and face a den of lions, or disobey God and betray his own soul. The trap was set, and even the king, once he understood the deception, was powerless to undo it. He could have hidden. For 30 short days, he could have prayed in secret, his windows closed, his voice a whisper. He could have reasoned that God would surely understand the need for caution in such a perilous time. He could have compromised his routine, just for a little while. But that was not Daniel's way. His faith was not a private convenience. It was the very essence of his public life, woven through decades of small, consistent acts of obedience. To hide now would be to deny the God who had been his constant companion. And so, with the calm resolve of a man whose trust is not in princes or in laws, but in the living God, he chose faith over fear. Daniel hears the law, but he keeps praying. He faces Jerusalem, the sign of God's covenant. He chooses God over fear, reverence, not defiance. He prayed in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. His prayers are calm, grateful, trusting. He is not performing for people, he is simply faithful as always. Threats cannot sever a sacred connection. He places himself in God's hands. This quiet act is a sermon about true faith, peace in the presence of God, faithfulness over self-preservation. The king is troubled. The moment the accusation is made, he sees the intricate web of the trap and his own pride at its center. He had been flattered, his ego stroked, and in his vanity, he had signed a foolish decree. Now, the one man in his kingdom he trusted most, his friend Daniel, was condemned by the king's own hand. He spends the rest of the day desperately searching for a loophole, a way to undo what he has done, but finds none. The law of the Medes and Persians, once a symbol of his unshakable authority, is now his prison. It cannot be altered or revoked. His word, meant to be a foundation of stability for the empire, has become a weapon against an innocent man. His hands are tied, not just by ink and parchment, but by the very system he commands. And so, with a heart heavy with regret and self-reproach, the order is given. The words feel like stones in his mouth. The officials receive the command, their faces a mask of grim duty, hiding the satisfaction of their victory. The gears of the state turn, indifferent and unstoppable, carrying out the terrible sentence. As Daniel is led away, the king speaks to him, his voice thick with sorrow. It is not a command, but a desperate plea, a flicker of hope from a man who has none left. May your God, whom you serve so faithfully, rescue you. Daniel is brought to the place of certain death. Below, in the deepening shadows of the pit, powerful beasts wait. The low growls echo off the stone walls. The scent of dust and predator hangs in the air. For anyone else, this is the end. Yet, as Daniel is lowered into the lion's den, there is no struggle, no cry of protest. His expression is calm, his posture one of surrender, not to the lions, but to his God. A great stone is rolled over the mouth of the den. It is sealed with the king's own signet, a final, irreversible act. Guards are posted to stand watch, ensuring the king's tragic decree is fulfilled. In his palace, the king refuses all comfort and food. He sends away the musicians and entertainers. The luxurious halls feel empty and cold. He cannot sleep, pacing the floor, his mind replaying his failure, his heart tormented by the fate of his faithful servant. It is a long, agonizing night of regret. Daniel is sealed in the darkness below. The king is sealed in the darkness above. But while the king is in turmoil, a prisoner of his own guilt, Daniel is at peace. In the echoing silence of the cave, broken only by the soft breathing of the great beasts, he prays. He trusts God in the darkness. And in that trust, a miracle unfolds. Not with a clash of swords or a show of force, but with a profound stillness. An angel, a presence of perfect peace, descends into the den. The lions, these fearsome predators, become as gentle as lambs, their mouths shut, their powerful bodies at rest. The test of trust becomes a sanctuary. The pit of death becomes a holy place, filled with the quiet, unshakable presence of God. God does not forget his faithful servant. He sees, he hears, he responds. God sends his angel, a personal, quiet miracle, not a battle, peace. Their mouths are shut. They lie down like lambs. The den becomes a sanctuary, protected by God's love. Safer with God in a den than without him in a palace. God honors those who honor him. Faith brings peace, even in the deepest pit. At first light, the king hurries to the den. He cries out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God rescued you?" Daniel answers, "O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths." Daniel is gently lifted into the morning light. Not a single scratch. Completely unharmed. The miracle is undeniable. Faith has overcome fear. Daniel's story isn't just a tale from the past. It's a living testament to a profound truth. Faith is choosing God even when fear is real, tangible, and breathing down our necks. It's not the absence of fear, but the decision to trust in something greater than what we can see or feel in the moment. It's a quiet, resolute turning of the heart toward hope, even when circumstances scream despair. We all face our own lions' dens. They might not have teeth and claws, but they are just as terrifying. It's the crushing anxiety about the future, the relentless pressure at work, the long, sleepless nights spent wrestling with a difficult diagnosis or a strained relationship. It's the fear of failure, the sting of loneliness, the weight of expectations we can no longer carry alone. These are the modern dens where our faith is tested, But just as Daniel was prepared for his greatest trial, we too can build a faith that endures. It doesn't happen overnight. Faith grows through simple daily habits. It's cultivated in the quiet moments when we choose to turn our attention toward God, just as Daniel opened his window toward Jerusalem. It's the morning prayer of gratitude before the day's chaos begins, the midday pause to recenter our hearts, the evening surrender of our worries. It's found in integrity in the quiet places, when we make the right choice, even when no one is watching. It's built by choosing compassion over convenience, offering a kind word when it would be easier to stay silent. These small choices, these daily acts of faithfulness, build a strong foundation of trust, brick by brick. They are the spiritual muscles we develop in times of peace that will sustain us in times of crisis. So, what can you do today? Find a quiet place, even for just a moment. Open the window of your heart. You don't need a grand speech or a perfect prayer. Just be present. Acknowledge the lions you are facing. Name them. Then, turn your burdens over to God. Release your grip on the outcomes you cannot control. Trust Him to send His peace into your situation. It may not change the circumstances immediately, but it will change you within them. It's a peace that calms the storm inside, a stillness that quiets the roaring of fear. Choose faith over fear, not just once, but every day, in every small decision. Let Daniel's story remind you, God is with you in the den. He is not a distant observer, He is a present help. He hears your silent prayers, He sees your unseen struggles, and He is mighty to save. If this message touched your heart, and you want to continue exploring a faith that sustains, we invite you to subscribe to Walking in Faith. Join our community as we learn to trust God one day at a time. Soft. Peace be with you.